Hey y'all, so today is going to be a pretty casual video. I'm just going to do a little story time with you all, and you will understand why I'm telling you the story at the end of this video. So make sure you stay tuned, click subscribe now so that you can see more videos in the future. So I'm going to be very vulnerable with you all. I've actually spoken about this before on my channel and I ended up taking the video down. But I'm going to try to leave this one up. So I want to tell you all about my friend, and this has really been impressing on my heart lately because of the time of the year it is. It's about to be her birthday. But my friend, her name was Taylor, and I met her years ago. I mean, it had to be like 2014, I think. It was either 2013 or 2014 we met each other. I interviewed at a job, and she was one of the first people that I met there. She was working that day. And I remember she told me, she pulled the boss to the side and said, "You need to hire that girl." And so he did hire me. And after that, we were just thick as thieves from the very first time that we met each other. And we just had such a fun relationship. Now, during that time, fun for me was very different from fun for me right now. We'll get into that. So it was during a time where I had ended up failing out of nursing school, and I had this time gap before I had reapplied and got accepted to another nursing program. So during that time when I kind of was figuring life out, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what my future held. And I was just all about going out because I was kind of lost. Like, I didn't know what was going on with my life, and I felt disappointed. I had done everything right up until this point in my eyes. And so I didn't understand why I was going through such hardship. And so I just started doing whatever I wanted to do, and I didn't feel any conviction about it. I don't even know if I was really saved at that point. Like, I had grown up knowing Christ, but I didn't even feel bad, you know? Like, the Holy Spirit rises up in you when you do something wrong and you feel convicted, not condemned, but you know right from wrong, you know? And the Holy Spirit guides you in that. And I didn't have that guidance during that time, now that I look back. And so I just had a lot going on. And needless to say, Taylor and I, like, we had this really, really deep bond, and we just had so much fun together. We went on trips together. She supported me so much in all the things that I did. I was figuring things out. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so I just threw myself into other things. Like, I was doing pageants and competitions during that time, and she would show up. Like, there were times when she would fly out to other states just to see me compete, or nights when we would get off of work and we would just sit up and talk, and we were just really, really, really good friends. We just had so many plans with each other. You know how it is with your best friends. You're just like, oh, you know, when you get married, it's gonna be like this, and you're gonna watch my kids. She didn't want kids for a real long time, but we got over that. You know, our kids are gonna play together, or, you know, we're gonna go see each other here. And we had planned like where we would live, like just all of these things. We were just girls in our early 20s who were just living life and making all these plans, and all of our plans we knew would include each other. We talked every single day. We talked also about everything. We knew so many of the other's deepest, darkest secrets. Like, it was almost like sisterhood, you know? Like, we just had a really, really, really good friendship, to the point where, like, I knew her family, and we would hang out with her mom, and, you know, like, her boyfriend was like one of my best friends. Like, it was just what you think of when you think like of a really deep friendship. And so fast forward, Taylor ended up moving away. And when she moved at first, it was like kind of devastating, but we had talked about how eventually we both wanted to move away, because we had lived in like these little small towns. Like, I'm from Kentucky and she was from around the same area. And so we both had that planned in our future. Like, eventually I was like, I want to go back to nursing school, and eventually I'm going to become a travel nurse, and then eventually I'm going to settle somewhere else. So I kind of had that in the back of my mind. But she ended up moving away first. And when she moved away, it kind of coincided with me going through this radical change, because during that time, my grandparents got sick. So one of my grandparents had gotten sick and passed away while we were still in the same state, if I'm remembering that correctly. And then once she moved, another one of my grandparents got sick and ended up passing away. And my grandparents are the people who took me to church, taught me how to pray, like told me who Jesus was in their lives. And so their passing away was kind of like a catalyst for me, because my whole life was falling apart. I had failed out of school. I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I was like in and out of these toxic situationships. I just did not know what I was doing. And my life had little to no direction at that time period. I was just grasping onto things that I thought would give me some type of validation, and nothing ever did. And so it just was a lot. So I say all that to say, I ended up being drawn back to church while my grandfather was ill. And I just felt like I need to go back to church. And when I went, it was like the Lord just lit a fire in me. And I was just set ablaze. I could not get enough. I couldn't go to church enough. I couldn't take in enough sermons. Like, it was just such a beautiful time. It was just such a transformative time. Now, the thing is during that time, I was changing and growing spiritually, and I was separated from my friend, and it wasn't something that I was sharing with her. I remember feeling almost a little awkward talking about it, and so it was just something that I wouldn't bring up. Like, I don't know if you believe this, and I don't know if you'll take this well, and I don't even know how to approach and how to like put together a discipleship state. Like, I don't know. I'm like new to this. And so I knew that we're called as Christians to disciple, to go out and make disciples of all nations, Acts 1:8. I knew that, but it was almost as though I was just too terrified. And unfortunately, as my friend was planning to actually move back, like, we were talking about her coming home, and we had all these plans, and I didn't know exactly what that would look like, because I knew that we had changed a lot. Like, I had ended up getting accepted back into nursing school, and I got really, really deep in church. And so I didn't know how our relationship would be once she did move back, but I was excited for her to move back, because either way, she was a great person. She was a great friend to me, and our relationship could have grown. And before she moved back, she ended up passing away. I remember I was at work, and I got a phone call. And I was like at this work like training. If you're a nurse, like, you have to do all these yearly trainings. And I got a phone call from someone else who had worked with us, and she told me that she passed away. And I thought that I thought she was lying, because I was like, what? It's different when someone's young. I hadn't lost anyone who was, young, and it was unexpected, and it was an accident. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm trying. But she ended up passing away, and we never got to live out any of those plans. And that's what hurt me the most when she first passed away, was because we had so many things planned, and she had a whole life ahead of her. And she was making changes. Her ideas about things were changing in that time period when she was about to come home. I talked about how, like, the whole kids thing, like, who she was beginning to shift, and who knows, how things would have turned out when she moved home. I choose to trust in a sovereign God who has a plan, but it broke me. It was very heartbreaking. And the reason why I'm telling you this, the reason why I'm sharing this story with you, is because I never shared Jesus with her. I remember one time I shared a clip of somebody speaking. It was a pastor speaking. And she was like, oh, this is great. And that was it. It was literally, that was it. But I never talked to her. I never even asked her, like, what specifically do you believe? We never had deep conversations about that. And I started to make this shift in my life and go through all these changes. And I didn't reach back because I was afraid of the awkwardness. I was afraid of what she may say or what she may think or if she may be offended. But in the end, if you love someone, if you care about someone, if you care about their eternal fate and their eternal destiny, what I learned the hard way is that you have to just push past that awkwardness and you have to care enough to share your faith with them. At the end of the day, what we have as Christian believers is something so valuable. It's incomparable. It's priceless. It is a gift and it's been given to us. Give it to someone else. Give it to those that you love. I didn't have that conversation, and that's something that I've had to battle with and I've had to struggle with because I can't rewind time and have that conversation. And there are things that I've learned in school that have definitely helped me with that. But now it's like, I'm going to live my faith out loud. Everyone around me is going to know that I love Jesus. And I'm going to continue to make it known. And I want to continue to be just like this neutral ground that's safe enough for you to feel like, okay, I can come to you and ask a question about this. And I think that's so important for us not to just hold on to our faith so tight, but to hold it with an open hand so that we can give it to other people. And so, yeah, I've done like a deep dive with the reasons of why I met my friend, the things that I've learned from that relationship, the things that I'm still implementing because of our relationship. Like, she was such an amazing person. She was super small, but like super brave and courageous. Like, you would never think that she had a fear in the world. And I remember feeling like, because of our relationship, I've learned to be brave. I've learned to step out there in faith and just do it and move across country and completely relocate to Texas. Like, there are still things from that relationship that I'm implementing to this day. And I feel like that's just me honoring her purpose in life. And that's really helped me cope with her death because God didn't send her here for no reason, you know? Her life has helped me and has shown me so many things and has taught me so many amazing things. And now I'm in a place where I'm like, I hope my life is teaching other people things. I hope that me living for Jesus out loud, unashamedly, is showing him in a good light, or perhaps even just sparking a little bit of curiosity in people. And I was that way when she moved away too. So I'm like, you know, I have no idea. Maybe she did pick up something from my life. Maybe she did hear about Jesus. Maybe it did spark some curiosity in her. I'm not sure. But living with the what if, or I don't know, is hard because I can't just call her up and ask her, you know? And so I hope that you learn from this story, if anything, how beautiful friendship can be and how beautiful it is that God allows us to borrow people for just a little while, but also to never forget that if you love somebody deeply, if you care about their future, just not even their future here on this earth, but their eternal future, their eternal destiny, do not let fear or anxiety keep your mouth closed about the most beautiful story that the gospel is for us as believers. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'm sorry about all of the awkward pauses, but the emotions that I thought I had under control. But thank you guys. I don't even know how to end this. I will see you guys next time. Bye.